We're live on LinkedIn as well. It looks like it's going to be live. Looks like it's going to work this time. There we go. All right, excellent. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are all doing well. This is Namdi Henacho. Welcome to Traveling Beyond Borders. I missed you all last week. It feels like it's just last week, but it almost feels like it's been a very long time. So, welcome back after a short time off. I was away at a conference all of last weekend, so I was not able to do this, but I'm glad to be back. I hope you missed me. All right, and for anybody who is here, who is new here, this is Traveling Beyond Borders with Namdi, and I am the founder and CEO of the African American Collective. And every week I come live and we'll share perspectives on this, perspectives, resources, tools that help us facilitate our mission as an organization, and that is to help immigrants, African immigrants, and that's where thrive here in our newfound home, so we don't have to start from scratch. And and so if that's you, you're welcome. If you're on YouTube or LinkedIn, please make sure you're subscribing, you're following, you're doing all of the cool things. And also connecting with us virtually. We have a lot of virtual platforms on Instagram, WhatsApp, do all the things you need to do, but let's stay connected. There's a lot of good things going on within the community. All right, let's jump right in. If I can find all of the things, technology it's just 1 week and it feels like it's been forever. But let's jump right in. All right, so my topic today is from personal success to community impact, from personal success to community impact. And that's leading beyond yourself. Okay, leading beyond yourself. And that is still aligned with the conversations. In fact, on Saturday, we have our women's conference. And the whole gist around it's, sustainable futures, the power of women who open doors. And so it's kind of in alignment with what I'm talking about today. Um, Succeeding beyond yourself. Impact. I was having a conversation with my mom. I think this would be a good way to get into this conversation. I was having a conversation with my mother earlier today, and we were talking about one of my dad's senior brothers, older brothers, one of my older uncles who's way older than my dad. Come from a large family, just for another day. But we were talking about his impact on the family and how where he had risen to a certain level of success in the company where he had worked at the time. For those of us who are from Nigeria, it's he used to work at Nigerian Railway, at the railway, the railway corporation or something like that. And at the peak of his powers in his career, he brought on so many of his brothers, so many of his family members to this company that it felt like this was an extension of our Iheanacho family. At some point when he was at the peak of his powers, he brought many people on. Mom was telling me that at some point people started saying, "I'm not going to work at railway." Like it was almost like, "Hey, I'm it's an extension of our family. I don't want to work there." Right. And so that's how powerful that story was to me. And that's his legacy. And the man is late now. But whenever his name comes up, it is all the people he helped get jobs, a lot of who have gone on to retire and are even getting pension. So life-changing impact, leveraging his personal success. All right. And that brings me to this conversation. Many of us started our journey here as immigrants focused on survival. The focus was getting the job, getting the visa, getting the status, buying your first house. And all of that is great. But thriving beyond borders is beyond, just individual success. It's beyond individual milestones. When you start to thrive, that's when you've gone beyond. And now we are looking at collective impact. Right, collective impact is when we can say we're truly thriving beyond borders. And so the goal for today is about your legacy, right? We're exploring how to shift from what can I get to what can I build for others. That's our conversation. All right, let's buckle up and let's go. Okay, so moving beyond the me phase, like we need to start thinking about that. Success is about achieving your own goals, but significance is about helping others achieve theirs. That is the bedrock of why we have the collective. It's driven, it's powered by a mission that is beyond one person, beyond, hey, let me get mine. But when you get yours, then what? right? We want to get into this culture of building bridges, or at least ensuring there's a ladder for people to climb up as you are elevating. Okay, because you don't want it to be here. They say it's lonely at the top, but it's nice to have your people with you, right? In that way, they're not seeking to pull you down. If you create a bridge or put a ladder for people to climb up as you go up, if you create those stairs, then it takes effort. They're using their effort to climb up and not trying to, figure out the way to pull you down. You can't be climbing and pulling down as well. All right. And so that's the mindset I want us to have. Let me create that ladder as I elevate, right, to help the next person come up. And if everybody rises and leaves a ladder for the next person to come up, what you will have is everybody's constantly climbing. And then I'm not staying on this stage. So by the time the next person gets to where I am, I've moved and we're moving and then we're elevating. And at some point, we'll get a season and a situation where we're a circle of winners. We're a circle of successes. We're a circle of legacy builders, a life-changing community. That's where we, get in that realm of, man, these are game changers in one space. Like these people, this community, they are this. Our success becomes in a communal identity, not just a one person. Okay, yeah, there's a successful doctor here that's from this country, or there's a successful business person, and but it's like we have one. Like you shouldn't be a one-off. That shouldn't be the goal where there's just one of you and that's it. Okay, so it has to be beyond that. It has to go from um, being a one-off to where our communal identity becomes success, becomes this is how these people are. When you meet somebody from this is what they represent. This is the standard. And that's going to happen because we leave ladders on our way up, right? To ensure that we continue to climb, right? So we need to start thinking about moving beyond that mid stage. And that is transitioning from success, to significance, right? Going beyond success and to significance. Uh, uh, um, Individual wins, have a fulfillment ceiling. Okay, if it's not shared, there's only so much fulfillment you will get, and then you see people who have everything and they talk about, well, it feels empty. That's because it's just you sharing all of it. That's because you're the only one, you're there by yourself, and the people around you cannot relate to your experiences and to your conversations and to your points of view. Okay, so bring them up, like build a bridge, become that. Again, I keep saying bridge, but I really mean a ladder, a bridge that pointing upwards, basically, right? So, um, that is your goal. We need to start moving beyond the me phase. Um, and quickly, I want to speak on the role of mentorship in leadership. Right, mentorship isn't just a nice thing to do; it's a leadership requirement. So now that you have gone ahead, your role is to part of that whole ladder concept is being a mentor. Being a mentor is that bridge. A mentor is that ladder that people can climb on to elevate, right? When you mentor, you're not just teaching skills, you're expanding your own influence and creating a succession plan for the community. You're replicating yourself, basically. You're making sure that who you are, there's again, the goal shouldn't be there's just one me who does this. You might be the first one, you should not be the last, right? You could be the first one to have accomplished or attained, but you shouldn't be the last one. And it's your story should inspire others one, but you should be a mentor to show people the ropes and say, hey, this is how to get started. This is the path to take. If you're trying to get to this place, this is how it works. This is how to get there. And so that should be the objective. That should be, again, I shouldn't be one of one. I shouldn't be the one and only in my lane, in my field, in my business, in my career path. I might be the first, but my job is to ensure that I am definitely not the last one. My job is to ensure that I am definitely not the only one. I am definitely not the last of my kind, right? It shouldn't be that one. No, no, it should be that knowledge be transferred. That blueprints should be in the community, right? To ensure that, hey, you're rising and people are coming after you. All right. So my question is again, who was the one person, who opened the door for you when you had nothing, when you were beginning your journey, right? And who have you done it for? Who did it for you? Who are you doing it for? We're building ladders as we elevate. put a ladder to ensure somebody else can come up. And that cycle of knowledge transfer, if I'm going to use our language, that cycle of transformational impact is flowing down and everybody is elevating, everyone is growing. All right, so really quickly, what are some of the tools for collective impact? Tools for collective impact. Number one, intentional advocacy, using your voice, right? Intentional advocacy and using your voice. Advocacy is not just for politicians. It tends to be them. It feels like they've colonized the word, but it's not just for them. It's your professional seat to speak up for those who are not in the room yet. Again, I've talked about mentorship. Now I'm talking about advocacy, leveraging your positions of success to speak up for other people who are not in that room. Making sure that your voice is creating room for others to keep elevating and rising. Right? It's something we need to immerse in our culture as African, the African diaspora is, hey, I'm in this room. How do I make sure I'm not the only one in this room? How do I speak up for people who might not be here, right? Who deserve a shot at this but might not have this privilege that I have? I'm always reminded of the story of Esther, Queen Esther in the Bible, when she rose to a place of prominence as the queen. In that, in the I think it was Babylonian kingdom, and um, during the time where they were about to face annihilation, her mentor Mordecai, who was also her uncle, came and told her, like, listen, you're in the palace now. Maybe you are there for such a time as this. Maybe the Lord has placed you in this position for such a time as this. And whether you're a person of faith or not, you should be able to relate to that story. It's going back to the concept of you are in this position for such a time as this, and that is to ensure the survival of your people. That was for Esther in the Bible. Uh, for you, it can be the survival of your kin. It can be to ensure the prosperity of your folk, the elevation of your peers. Like, what is that assignment? But you are in that position, that elevated place of power for such a time as this. So be an advocate, right? Advocate for fairer hiring practices. Advocate for for more initiatives that serve our communities, right? Be an advocate, use your voice, use your privilege to the advantage of the community, right? So that's one tool for collective impact. Number two tool is building opportunity bridges. Again, we're still on the bridge. Don't just climb the ladder, drop it back down. Have I said this 1,000 times already? Even my script is saying the same thing. Don't just climb the ladder, drop it back down. Position yourself as someone who connects talent to opportunity. Okay, as you elevate, as you climb, make sure that ladder, you're not taking it up with you. You're dropping it so that the next person has something to climb up with. And then hopefully the person that has gone ahead of you also left a ladder for you to continue to climb. If we do it that way, we'll just have a chain of ladders and we'll continue to elevate. And then it will only be the people who don't want to rise that don't, right? But it will never be. What we want to do is eliminate excuses, eliminate, well, nobody did it for me, or I didn't have a blueprint. Oh, no, 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 no. We're not going to do that. Our objective is to ensure that everybody who wants to do well for themselves has the blueprint, has the foundations, has the leverage, has the access, has the connections, has the person advocating for them. Imagine what that would look like for us as a people, especially here in a foreign country. Imagine what that would look like. Imagine how strong we'll become as a community. Imagine how powerful, like what that will represent for us as a people if we left ladders as we moved up to ensure the next person coming is also climbing that ladder of opportunity, right? Position yourself as someone who connects talent to opportunity. We have a group within our community, we have our community platform. And we always encourage people, if you get opportunities, outside from your place of work, come and share it internally, right? People who want to apply, be a referral, be one giving those internal referrals. We know that yes, when referrals come internally, it gives an advantage. It makes getting interviews easier. You see these internal openings within your organization, and you just keep them. How about share them with the platform? Share them on the platform. Share them with the community. Say, hey, who is looking to work here, who has expertise, they're looking for somebody. Even today, somebody reached out to me and said, "Hey, Namdi, do you know somebody who has this skill set? I know someone who is looking to hire and they are the decision maker. Get me a name." Like that is how we do it. That's how we build community. It's the like I know I have access to this person. Important that we are not uh, all right. Okay, we're still live. I was wondering what happened. It was like it broke for a minute there. Technical challenges, man. Technical challenges. All right. So build, building opportunity bridges was in second tool. And then the third one is the mindset shift for the next level. Mindset shift for the next level. To lead at a high level, you must stop being the doer and start being the enabler. All right, I was having this conversation with my wife. Like we are planning. We have a few days to go, a few days away from our conference, and so because it's a women's conference, she is at the helm of it. She also works as our COO and everything, but she's the face of that event. I mean, everybody's working towards making it a success, but it needs a face, right? And so she's the face of that event, and she's doing an excellent job. But we were talking about like, hey, how do we want to make sure this is done the right way and everything, and we're looking at what changes we need to make from our own perspective to ensure that we're not burnt out, so that we are not under a lot of duress, right? When you don't want to be one where you're trying to in the process of serving the community, you are losing yourself. um, and this was the conversation we had, like, hey, we need to energize or enable people to take ownership, right, of their own aspects and trust them to deliver the outcomes desired, right? After you have, the Bible says that after you have done all you can, stand, right? After we have exhausted our options, you've put things in place, let people own their process, let people drive their aspects of the program, and then just supervise and guide them and lead them into, success. And so it's really, as a community leader, how do you position yourself? It's, hey, stop being the hands-on person, don't get caught up in operations all the time, right? Position yourself as that person, become an enabler, the one who calls out the greatness in people and gives them the opportunity to give expression to that, right? Position yourself as that leader, who calls out the best, who helps them who brings out the best in your people, right? And that is always, even with, not just for community programs, but even in just advancing in their careers, like, uh, um, be that leader who they look up to, and like, hey, this person encourages me, this person inspires me to be better. And I truly believe that if we can leverage these tools, right? Intentional advocacy, building opportunity bridges, having that right mindset for the next level. If we leverage these tools, we will be better for it as a community. We'll see the diaspora community start coming together and rising together collectively. I truly believe we can make a difference. The most important thing for us when we first started the collective was, hey, we have individual successes. There's references to our people, in different spheres of life doing great things. But as a collective, because we haven't harnessed the power of the collective, because we haven't harnessed our individual greatness into one collective unit, we're not a strong voice, and that is the truth. And so, yes, there's so much special. We're special. Uh, um, we're special. We're intelligent. We are great. We are contributors. We're contributors to this ecosystem, but we are easily played with or tossed around because, again, as a collective, we're not strong. We're not in one voice and in one accord. And if that is going to change, then we have to shift our mindset from individual success to communal and collective success. We do that by ensuring we are leaving ladders as we elevate and the community is rising. Like, we have to be intentional about that. this year, if nothing, this last couple of years has shown us how we are perceived as a people. If you look at the list, of countries who are going through the visa bans or restrictions, whenever it happens, it is majorly African countries or countries that are powered by black descent, like the Caribbeans, Haiti, all of those places. And the reason why there are, yeah, and again, I don't want to throw shade at other regions of the world, but I don't think we are committing the most crimes. I don't think we are the most dubious. I don't think we are the problem. We are active contributors to this community, to this ecosystem, right? And the data bears that, to that. So when we come with intention to advance. Yes, are there bad apples? Yes, just like it is for every other group. We are not the problem of this nation. We are active participants. We are contributors. We are doctors. We are lawyers. We are business people. We are employers, right? We are taxpayers. We vote, right? And so how come whenever there is a case to be made, we are always at the short end of the stick? And even in advocacy for immigration and fairness and all of those things, we're never really the face of those things. It's not even us that's the intended, recipient of some of these initiatives and efforts. We benefit from them sometimes, but it's never really primarily with the African diaspora in mind or the African immigrant in mind. And that is again because collectively our voice is not that loud, it's not that strong, right? We don't have that much pull as a people. We don't. And that's a fact that we have to deal with. And if that is going to change, if there will be a shift, then we have to start having intentionality. And I hope somebody's gaining, and I hope somebody's feeling some kind of way and deciding to make a difference or make some changes. All right, really quickly. Again, I've always been doing this weekly immigration pulse. I talk about every week, just looking at the landscape of things and just talking through some news. Uh, in early 2026, we're seeing a shift in the O1A, EB1A, that's the extraordinary ability visa adjudications. USCIS is placing a higher premium on evidence of original contributions of major significance and leading or critical roles in distinguished organizations. And so basically what that means is immigration officers are looking for more than just you're making a good salary or something. They're looking for influence, they're looking for impact. Extraordinary ability should go beyond just position or degrees. Okay. And how does this connect? That's why you need to start leaning into community impact, right? How is your extraordinary ability actually adding value to this ecosystem? So again, it's it's not just immersing yourself in community and helping us build. It's not just a moral choice; it's also strategic. It's benefiting both ways. It's so if you are in this situation, bring your brain power, bring your skill set, and let us build together. It serves everybody. It serves everybody. All right. So your assignment for the week, I'm giving a 72-hour challenge. Reach out to one junior professional or newcomer in your field, and offer a 15-minute value call and help them navigate a specific challenge. Find somebody, reach out, each one teach one. Let's elevate ourselves. Um, and then, just a few quick announcements. Please make sure for all of the women in our community, make sure you're part of the conference on Saturday. It's going to be great. The registration and instruction details are on the website, all of our social media and on LinkedIn. Please check that out. Next week, we'll continue our conversation. We'll be talking, kicking off our spring growth series, and looking at the architecture of wealth in the diaspora. That's what we'll be getting into next week. So I'm excited about that. So as I wrap up, growth stops at your doorstep, but impact crosses borders. Let's lead with intention, and I'll see you next week and in the comments. So let me know your thoughts. God bless you. Have a blessed and most productive rest of your week.